This is my WWE Elimination Chamber 2010 pay-per-view review. The pay-per-view just went off the air, and overall this pay-per-view was pretty good. Now, a lot of the stuff that wasn't the two chamber matches was pretty much filler, but I think most people going into this pay-per-view were expecting, other than the two chamber matches, every other match or anything else done on the pay-per-view to be pretty much filler. But the two chamber matches were pretty good. The Raw chamber was good. The SmackDown chamber was pretty good. And I gotta say, the Raw chamber, with the ending of it, when I get into my review of it, definitely didn't expect the outcome, and a good little swerve at the end of the match as well. Now let me get on to my Elimination Chamber 2010 pay-per-view review. The opening matchup was the Raw Elimination Chamber for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It was John Cena versus Ted DiBiase versus Randy Orton versus Triple H versus Kofi Kingston versus Sheamus. The first two that started the match was Kofi Kingston and Sheamus. They did pretty decent stuff. Then the first person to get out of the mini chambers was Triple H. Then it was Orton, then it was DiBiase, then it was Cena, and there was no eliminations until every single person was involved in the match. The first elimination came from Ted DiBiase. He eliminated Randy Orton, and the way this happened was Cena hit the attitude adjustment on Randy Orton after he hit when Cena had him up in the attitude adjustment. You saw Cody Rhodes outside the chamber hand Ted DiBiase a lead pipe. And it looked like he was going to hit Cena with it, but he actually hit Randy Orton with it. Then after Cena hit the attitude adjustment to Randy Orton, then he hit Cena with it, so Ted DiBiase eliminated Orton that way, building up to the match that a lot of people were expecting to see at Mania, Ted DiBiase versus Randy Orton. I think it was pretty good build-up to that match, and I'm pretty sure that Orton and DiBiase will put on a very good match at WrestleMania. Then the next elimination came from right after this. Pretty quickly after this, you saw Kofi Kingston. You saw him eliminate Ted DiBiase. Then the next elimination came after that, Sheamus eliminating Kofi Kingston. So the final three in this match was Triple H, Sheamus, and John Cena. And surprisingly, Sheamus doesn't go all the way to the end. Like a lot of people were expecting Sheamus to walk out as the champion in this match. He actually doesn't. He gets eliminated by Triple H after hitting the pedigree. And the final two are Triple H and John Cena. Now, I would have liked them to go back and forth with each other for a few minutes, but this match was going on pretty long. This match pretty much took up the whole entire first hour of the pay-per-view, so it's a little understandable that they didn't go 5 minutes after the final two with each other. But within this, you saw Cena get the STFU on Triple H. Triple H was trying to get to the ropes, then he ended up tapping out, so your new WWE champion is John Cena. And then comes the little swerve after the match. Not that many people expect John Cena to walk out as WWE champion. You have Vince McMahon come out there and say, John Cena, I'm glad you're happy that you won this World Heavyweight Championship, and you're going to go on and have your match at WrestleMania, but we're going to have it earlier, and it's going to be you and Batista tonight, and it's right now. Batista comes out there after pretty much the same exact way that Edge won the World Heavyweight title for the first time, after Cena was in like a 40 to 50 minute elimination chamber. Comes out there, hits the Batista bomb on Cena just one time. That's the little problem I did have with it. I think they should have had Cena kick out of the first Batista bomb, and then Batista hit it again, and then Batista won the title that way. So obviously with that, you got your WWE Championship match for Raw set up already. John Cena versus Batista. Everyone already knew that match was going to be set up for WrestleMania, but not that many people were probably expecting it to be a world title match and expect Cena to win the world title back at WrestleMania. You'll just have Batista have about a 5-week title reign. In the Elimination Chamber match, I would give that 3.5 stars. The segment with Batista and Cena, since it wasn't really a match, I can't really give that a rating, so NA for that. Then the next matchup was Kane versus Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship. This match just dragged on. It wasn't anything that was like a god-awful worst match ever or anything, but it wasn't anything spectacular. It's just a pay-per-view filler match, which pretty much every single match other than the two chamber matches were at this event. You actually saw some mat wrestling in this match that you wouldn't expect to see between these two. And I enjoyed some of it, but these two types of stars, especially Kane doing mat wrestling, his type of character shouldn't be doing mat wrestling or anything like that. Drew McIntyre ends up hitting the Future Shock DDT to Kane to retain the Intercontinental Championship. At best, I would probably give it, 1.5, maybe 1 3/4 stars. Wasn't the worst match, but at best, a watchable match, and it did drag on a little bit, but they were just dragging it on to kill time for the pay-per-view, like they did a few more things on this pay-per-view after this. Then the next matchup was supposed to be Maryse versus Gail Kim, but then this was supposed to be for the Divas Championship to crown who's going to be the new Divas Champion, but Vicky Guerrero came out there and said this match is not going to be happening and turns it into a women's tag match. So Maryse and Gail Kim are teaming up to take on Layla and Michelle McCool. Really nothing spectacular in there, just a typical Divas match, typical Divas filler match for a pay-per-view that probably no one cared about seeing. Maryse and Gail Kim wouldn't have been that good, but it would have been better seeing that than this tag match that really was pointless to do on here, especially since you, at this point with Raw, you got 2 women's champions and you don't have one crowned on Raw yet, but you'll probably see Maryse versus Gail Kim tomorrow night, because after the match, Gail Kim is the one to get pinned in this match with Michelle McCool and Layla picking up the victory. And then after the match, Gail Kim is attacked by Maryse. So after the match, you'll see, not after the match, but obviously this is building up to Maryse versus Gail Kim for the Divas Championship. Probably happen tomorrow night on Raw. Then that's when you'll have the champion crown. For that women's match, 1 star at best. Just, a filler match. Then the next matchup was a match that got added at the last minute. This was Miz versus MVP for the United States Heavyweight Championship. And this match was added right before this. They did a little backstage segment with Miz talking about the new Next program that's going to be starting on Sci-Fi this Tuesday. MVP interrupts him, and then they just add this match to the pay-per-view. Well, actually, I think it was before this match. I forgot to mention one thing. They did something with William Regal coming out to the ring, and they did something with him and Edge. And Edge spears him, and just a pointless segment that not only didn't really make any sense why, Edge and William Regal did anything with each other on the pay-per-view. It was just something to fill time for the pay-per-view. Just like this Miz versus MVP match. Wasn't a terrible match, just pretty much the match you've seen against each other before. You pretty much see it again. Nothing that much different, and Big Show helps Miz retain the title after the KO punch to MVP in this match. At about a 2-star match. It was at least watchable, I would say. Then you had the main event, which was the SmackDown Elimination Chamber for the World Heavyweight Championship. This was Rey Mysterio versus John Morrison versus Chris Jericho versus Undertaker versus CM Punk versus R-Truth. At the beginning of the match, the 2 first people were CM Punk and R-Truth. And before R-Truth came out there, CM Punk was out there before him and cut a promo, pretty good promo from Punk, the straight edge type promo that he's been doing recently. He's definitely getting a lot of heel heat from the crowd, and I really like the direction of his character a lot. And you saw some good stuff at the beginning with CM Punk and R-Truth starting it off. And unlike the first match, which you saw no eliminations until after everyone was involved in the match, you actually saw elimination before anyone even came out of the mini chambers, with CM Punk eliminating R-Truth. Then he got on the mic. Then after that, you saw Rey Mysterio come out there. Saw some pretty good stuff with Rey Mysterio and CM Punk. Very good stuff with them too. And then Mysterio at this point eliminates CM Punk. And then Jericho's the next one to come out the mini chamber. For about 5 minutes, you saw very good stuff with Chris Jericho and Rey Mysterio, like you would expect. Them to have very good chemistry with each other, and really have never pulled off any bad matches or any not working good with each other. They did some good stuff in this match against each other. Then Morrison is the next person to get out of the mini chambers. Morrison eliminates Rey Mysterio, which didn't expect to see in that, because I was actually expecting to see Rey Mysterio maybe making it to the end, to have to see Mysterio and Jericho at the end of the match. But they did something at the end of the match that made sense, that Mysterio didn't make it all the way to the end. And then Undertaker comes out there, so you have Taker, Morrison, and Jericho in there. Obviously, everyone was probably already knew what was going to happen. Morrison is the first person to get eliminated there. Undertaker eliminates him. Then at the end of it, you see Jericho and Undertaker, they do a lot of good back and forth stuff with each other. It's really like teasing Taker, looking like he's going to defeat him. Looks like Jericho's going to retain. A lot of good false finishes. Then out of nowhere, which a lot of people expected him to have some involvement in this match, so it's not a surprise, but it's one of those good type of predictable things I think turned out pretty good. You saw Shawn Michaels come out from one of the come out pretty much from under the ring. He removed one of the steel things outside the ring where the chamber was to get in the ring and super kick Undertaker. Then Undertaker is pinned by Chris Jericho, so Shawn Michaels pretty much helps Jericho win the title and costing Undertaker the title to build up their match at WrestleMania. Undertaker versus Chris Jericho yet again at WrestleMania 26, a rematch from WrestleMania 25. Very good chamber match, a lot of good stuff in there. And even though this one, unlike the Raw Elimination Chamber, was predictable, that everyone pretty much knew that Chris Jericho is going to be the one to walk out as champion because you've been building the stuff up with Chris Jericho and him on Money, Chris Jericho and Edge on SmackDown with cutting edge segments and stuff like that. And a lot of people already expected not Jericho, but Shawn Michaels to come in the match to cost Undertaker the title. It was one of those predictable type matches that came out good, and there was some good stuff in it. Like especially one thing within the match that was not predictable was Morrison actually lasting longer than Rey Mysterio. I did not see that happening, but Morrison did some good stuff in there. Very good chamber match. This was the better of the chamber matches, which with the talent in there, I think most people going in this pay-per-view were expecting the SmackDown chamber to be better. Very good SmackDown chamber. I would say 4 stars. Very good chamber match. Really good. And overall, with this pay-per-view, like I said, the 2 chamber matches are really the only good things of this pay-per-view. Everything else was pretty much filler. But the 2 chamber matches pretty much took up so much time with this pay-per-view that those are the main things and the main selling points of this pay-per-view. So even though, other than the 2 matches, the 4 stars, SmackDown chamber and the 3.5-star Raw chamber, everything else was, 2 stars or less. Those 2 matches took up so much time, and those were the main focus of this pay-per-view, that I would say overall, I would give this pay-per-view a passing grade. I would give it a 7 out of 10. Definitely worth checking out because of the chamber matches, and those were the selling points of this pay-per-view. So overall, like I said, pretty good WWE pay-per-view. The chamber matches really delivered, especially the SmackDown chamber. Really enjoyed that a lot. And the Raw chamber was pretty good as well. I actually liked that match as well. And yeah, that's it for my WWE Elimination Chamber 2010 pay-per-view review. All right, peace.